Hello everyone, today is 6th of September and we are going to discuss some of the MCQs which are important for your TISS net, IIFT and XAT examination. So before I start, I just want to convey that 80 plus of my students who enrolled to our courses made it to TISS final selection list, that is TISS 2023 batch. So if you want to enroll to our courses, you can do that by texting me at 7760869624. The fee for GK, Quant and English course each is 2000, but if you will take all the course together, the fee will be 5000. Okay, now coming to the first question for today. So some cases of Nipah virus has appeared in Kerala. So it says Nipah virus is a zoonotic disease, which is true. It is a zoonotic disease, that is it spreads from animal to humans. Okay, now this particular animal is considered as the reservoir for NIV virus in nature. So NIV virus is nothing but Nipah virus. Okay, so option A says monkey, B says swine, C says fruit bat and D says birds. So the answer to this will be fruit bats. This is important. Now come to question number 2. It says what are the private member bills? A says a bill introduced by a minister, B says a bill introduced by a non-minister, C says a bill introduced by a non-member of parliament, D says a bill introduced outside the parliament. So the answer to this will be a bill introduced by a non-minister, as most of the bills which are introduced in the parliament are introduced by minister, okay, who are part of executive. But sometimes a bill might be introduced by a person who is member of parliament and is not a minister. That bill is called a private member bill. This is important, a question might come. Now come to third question, it is also important. So there are something called money bill. What are money bill? So can it be introduced in both the house of the parliament, that is Lok Sabha or Raj Sabha, or it can be introduced only one house of the parliament? So the options are A says it can be introduced only in the Lok Sabha, B says it can be introduced only in the Raj Sabha, C says both Lok Sabha and Raj Sabha, that is it can be introduced in either of the houses, and D says it does not require introduction. So the answer for this will be it can only be introduced in the Lok Sabha. Okay, this is also important. Now come to question number 4. India is going to sign reciprocal exchange of logistic agreement with which of the following country? A says USA, B says France, C says Russia and D says Israel. So we have some sort of defense relationship with all these countries. So you should be aware what agreement we have gone through all these countries. Okay, for example, we have an agreement called Limoa agreement with USA, then Rafale deal was with France, then Barak missile was with Israel, then S-400 deal was with Russia, and here the answer to this particular thing will be Russia. The reciprocal exchange of logistic agreement gives India access to Russian facilities in Arctic region, which is seeing increased global activity as new shipping route open up India's own investment in the Russian Far East. Okay, and there was a particular conference in Russian Far East which was known by what name and which was at what place? It was at Vladivostok. And what was the name of that conference? Can you write in the comment below? Now come to question number 5. Which country recently launched the Plastic Pact to get rid of single-use plastic by 2030? So there is a target, loose target, that we should get rid of single-use plastic by 2030. So the country has come up with Plastic Pact. Now which of the following country has come up with Plastic Pact? A says Finland, B says the Mauritius, C says India and D says South Korea. So it is an Asian country and it is the first country in Asia to come up with such a pact. Plastic Pact. The answer to this will be India. As you can see, India has become the first Asian country to launch the Plastic Pact. The India Plastic Pact is a collaborative initiative that aims to bring together businesses, governments, non-profits, to set time-bound commitments to reduce plastic from their value chains. Okay, now come to sixth question. It is quite important because we had Teachers Day on 5th of September. Who among the following was recipient of Global Teacher Award 2020? A says Shamala Ganeshan. She is also important because she got, the Order of Rising Sun Award from Japanese government recently. Okay. B says Ranjit Singh Tisale. C says Anshu Gupta, and D says Anu Aga. So Anu Aga is alumna of TISS. Okay. This is also important, and she was associated with Teach for India, but she is not the answer here. The answer here is Ranjit Singh Tisale, okay, who won the Global Teachers Award 2020, that is last year December. Now come to question number 7. It says, in startup business, a unicorn is a privately held startup company valued at over what amount? A says 1 million, B says 10 million, C says 1 billion, and D says 10 billion. So a unicorn startup is a startup which has a valued capital at 1 billion. Okay, and India has become the third startup or unicorn startup hub of the world. This was in news. And here only I would like to ask you one question, that edutech company becoming unicorn startup is a good sign or a bad sign? Okay, so there can be debate over it, whether edutech company becoming unicorn startup is good for India or bad for India. Okay, so think over it. Now come to question 8. It says the next Olympic in 2024 is going to be held in which of the following cities? A says Seoul, B says Shanghai, C says Toronto, and D says Paris. Seoul is the capital of South Korea, then Shanghai is in China, Toronto is in Canada, and D, Paris is in France. So the answer for this will be Paris. As you can see, Paris 2024. Okay, so this was all for today. If you want to enroll to our courses, you can contact me at 7764869624 by WhatsApping me. Okay, so thank you. Thanks for watching.